I'm Mary Grube, and today I'm going to show you very simple zucchini fries made in the oven. So first thing we're going to do is take a nice fresh garden zucchini, and we're going to clean it, of course, because it's just come from the garden. I know there's no pesticides or anything like that. I'm not going to wash it with soap like I usually would, so I'm just going to dry this off and do my slicing. So we're going to do that same technique that we've talked about in the past, okay? With my finger nice and tucked. I have all my things that I need assembled here. So I'm just going to put the knife right against my knuckle, like that. And I'm going for no more than 1/4 of an inch slice. Now this works really well. You can see these are all uniform, and that's because I have the knife against my finger and I just slide along. So that dictates how thin or thick my slices are. For this, really no larger than 1/4 of an inch. And this is really big. This works with any kind of zucchini that you might have in your garden. If you have yellow or you have starburst, the yellow ones that kind of look like that, they're sort of oval shaped. Just continue down the zucchini. I have 3 racks ready because you don't want these overlapping. The idea is to get nice and crisp zucchini type fries, as though we were going to fry these, but we're not. So it's a whole lot healthier for you. And I'm going to bread mine. I'm getting kind of close to the end now, so I can just stop. My slices are starting to slip. I can just stop, okay? So that's it. So I have nice uniform slices here. I don't need to do anything to them at all. I don't need to pat them. I don't need to worry about that. So what we're going to do is we're going to do the traditional flour, egg wash, and then breadcrumb combination, okay? That's the very traditional way to fry things. So just remember that. Flour, egg, and then bread. All right, so I've got some milk here because I want this to be a little richer, and an organic egg. And I'm just going to crack my egg in, and always go into the inside of the shell, and you can see some plopped out there, and make sure that you always clean out the inside of the egg because there's quite a lot in there. And I'm just going to beat this, and you can see I'm not adding salt, I'm not adding any pepper. I choose not to. Okay, but I do want to make sure that this is really well combined. I cracked my egg on a flat surface, and that's to make sure that whatever bacteria is on the outside of the egg doesn't go into the inside of the egg. So when you crack your egg on a sharp surface, like a bowl or a corner, something like that, then you pierce the shell and the bacteria goes into the egg. Okay, so we don't want that. So always crack your eggs on a flat surface. All right, so that's ready. Now, I've got some homemade breadcrumbs here that I have dried and ground up really finely. Now, you can do that in a food processor, or you can do that in a Ziploc bag or some sort of a bag, a resealable bag that, you know, with a rolling pin, and just bash the heck out of them, and they'll get nice and fine. And I've added about 1/2 cup of Parmesan cheese here, grated Parmesan cheese. All right, so that's really it. So I'm going to take my zucchini. And also what I've done is I've got some lined sheets here with some cooling racks. And I've put my cooling racks into the sink and given them just a spray with cooking spray, and that way the zucchini won't stick to the surface. And I find that by cooking them on racks, so on a raised surface, not directly on the sheet pan, they don't steam, they just get super crispy all the way around, and you'll see that at the end. Okay, so I'm going to take my zucchini, and I'm just lightly dipping it, dredging it in the flour, and then from the flour into my egg wash. Trying always to keep one hand clean, if you can, at least in the beginning. And I'm going to bread this like that. Okay, and put it onto the rack. And I'm going to repeat that with all of these zucchini. I've got my convection oven on so I can do multiple racks at a time without having to rotate the racks. So my oven is preheating right now to 425 degrees, and you want a nice hot oven. Now, if you have a standard oven, heat it to 425, and if you're using multiple racks, multiple sheets on multiple racks, you're going to have to rotate those racks. But since the convection oven uses a fan, that air is rotating through my oven, so I don't have to switch out sheets. Okay, so let me go ahead and do this, and we'll come back and I'll show you what they all look like. Hi, okay, so here they all are assembled, and as you can see, they're not touching, they're spread out on the racks pretty wide, and we actually even had a few slices left over. I just used 1 egg and maybe 2 tablespoons or so of milk, and that was sufficient to do all of this. It was less than a cup of breadcrumbs, about a ½ cup of Parmesan cheese. So now, here's the great trick. Okay, so you take rack and sheet and all, and you put it inside of your sink. Now I have a nice big wide sink here, and I've got some cooking spray, and I'm just going to give them a coat, okay? Just like this. Because I've lined my sheet, there's really no mess to speak of. All right. Now I'm going to take my favorite salt. I happen to be using a nice Himalayan salt here, and from very high up, okay, I'm going to give them a slight sprinkling of salt. Now, if you like pepper, this is the point that you can add it. Keeping in mind, these are really delicious just as they are, salted like this. If you like pepper, add pepper. But if you're going to be eating them with a dip, there will be salt in the dip. So keep that in mind when you're adding your salt, okay? So I'm going to repeat this step with the other sheets, and then I'm going to put them right into the oven. Okay, so let me do that and come back. Okay, so I'm about to put them into the oven. So come on over here and I'll show you. All right, I've got the 3 of them in the oven now, and mine are all to the right like this because I have a hot spot in that back left corner. All right, so I'm just going to say goodbye to them for about 20 minutes, 15 to 20 minutes at 425. Better to check them sooner rather than later, but when they get nice and dark golden brown and really crisp, that's what's so delicious. So we'll check back in about 15 to 20 minutes. Okay, so we set the timer initially for about 15-20 minutes. I checked them and they needed a few more. So these cooked about a total of 23 minutes, a little less than 25 minutes. So check them, you'll know your oven. Okay, so let's look at them. All right, you can see they're nice and yummy and golden. So first thing you always do is turn the oven off. Okay, you don't want to forget that. All right, so we'll pull these out. I have some hot pads on the surface over there ready to receive these very hot sheets. And look at that, isn't that yummy? Okay. So you'd never miss the fact that these guys are not fried. And if they need a little more salt, this is when you can do that. But remember, if you're going to have these with ketchup or ranch dressing or an herb dip, whatever it is that you like, or even just plain, if they need extra salt, better to undersalt just a little bit than oversalt because you can't fix that. It's very difficult to fix that. All right, so we're all set. So I think these would be perfect just the way they are. I make a delicious snack, but we made some mac and cheese, so I think we're going to have these with mac and cheese and nice fresh watermelon. Again, I'm Mary Grube. Thanks for watching, and if you can give my Facebook page, Return to Elegance with Mary Grube, a like, I'd really appreciate it. Thanks. Bye-bye.